What if I told you that only 5 books would completely reshape the way you see the world, your finances, and your own life's purpose? I think you'd say that I'm out of my mind and you should watch something more interesting. Well, I don't force you to watch this video, but if you're already here, let me tell you my favorite books and why you should read them. Despite some of them, you may think of childish. Before all that, I want you to know that this is just my top 5 books. I'm not a book enthusiast and I don't read 1 book per week. Honestly, I don't remember the last time I actually read a book, but this is because I moved from country to country a few times over the last year and I just don't have enough space for all my books. Anyway, let's start with a book that might seem a little unusual for a must-read choice, The Little Prince by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. If you see this book on a shelf, you might think that it's a children's book with cute drawings, and you'd be right, but you'd be missing a point entirely. You see, this book isn't just for children. It's a profound guide for how to be an adult. The story follows a pilot stranded in the desert who meets a mysterious little prince for a tiny asteroid. And through the conversation, the book delivers critique of the grown-up world. The prince meets a series of characters on a different planets before he comes to Earth. King with no subjects, a vain man who only wants to be admired, a drunk man who actually drinks to forget he's ashamed to drinking, and one of my favorite, a businessman who is so busy counting the stars he claims to own that he forgets to look at their beauty. The book's main argument is that grown-ups have forgotten how to see what's truly important. They need everything explained with cold, hard numbers. They see ahead when in reality it's a boa constrictor that has eaten an elephant. They lost the ability to see with their hearts. And that brings us to the core of it all. The most famous line from this book is, "What is essential is invisible to the eye." Love, friendship, connections, the unique beauty of the single roles you cared for, these things are intangible. The Little Prince learned this through his relationship with Rose and with the fox, who teaches him about taming, which is all about creating the unique bonds. So, why do I recommend you to read this book? It is a short, beautiful, and piercing reminder to not become one of those lonely people on this lonely planet. To value connection over possession, to find wonder in the little things, and to never ever forget that the most essential thing in your life are the ones you have to feel with your heart. And speaking of finding meaning, that leads us perfectly to our second book, which comes from the place where finding purpose is a national philosophy. Book number 2, Ikigai, by Hector Garcia and Francesc Miralles. If The Little Prince is about why we need to find what's essential, then Ikigai is a practical guide of how to actually find it. The book is a journey to the Japanese island of Okinawa, known for having some of the longest living people in the world, and the author discovered that the people lived there shared one constant in common: Ikigai. It translates roughly to a reason for being, or a reason to jump out of the bed in the morning. But it's more than that. It's the interaction of 4 fundamental questions. What do you love? What are you good at? What does the world need? And what you can be paid for? The magic happens right in the center. This isn't just about finding the job you tolerate. It's about finding the overlap of your passion, your profession, your mission, and your vocation. And the book isn't just theoretical, it's filled with practical steps and wisdom from the elders of how to identify your Ikigai. It talks about the importance of losing yourself in an activity you're passionate about. In a world where we often push to choose between our passion and the paycheck, or burnt out in a job which pays the bill but empties our soul, this book is a roadmap. I think you need to read Ikigai to move beyond just living. Now, from the philosophy of purposeful living, let's jump to a story about the joy of being alive. Book number 3, The Adventures of Tom Sawyer by Mark Twain. And if you think this is just a simple children's adventure story, you're in for a surprise. This book is a masterclass in cleverness, persuasion, and remembering how to truly play. We follow the iconic Tom Sawyer, a boy with big imagination and even bigger appetite for mischief in a sleepy town of St. Petersburg, Missouri. And right from the famous fence painting scene, we're given a lesson from the ages. Tom is tasked with the boring and tedious job of whitewashing the fence, but instead of complaining, he completely reframes the entire job. He acts as if it's a rare privilege and honor, and even his own friends aren't qualified to do it. By the end of the day, his friends are not only paying him for the turn to paint, but they also feel like he's doing them a favor. It's a perfect lesson in psychology, marketing, and turning the liability into an asset. But beyond that, his book is a love letter to freedom. It's about sneaking out at midnight, the thrill of exploring a cave, the superstitions, and the fierce loyalty of friendship. Mark Twain captures a specific and almost unique nostalgia over the time when your biggest problem could be solved by a clever scheme. It's a celebration of challenging authority and thinking for yourself. In our structured adult lives, we can forget how to play, and we forget how to be resourceful and how to find adventure in this life. I think you need to read this book as a spark. It will remind you of the power of creativity over brute force. But what happens when a society loses its spirit entirely? That question brings us to the fourth and perhaps the most urgent book right now, Fahrenheit 451 by Red Bradbury. Let's be clear, this book isn't just about the censorship, this is about the death of critical thought. And decades after it was written, it reads less like a science fiction and more like a chilling prophecy. The title itself refers to the temperature at which paper catches the fire and burns. In this world, firemen don't put out fires, they start them, to burn the most dangerous commodity of all, fire. But Bradbury is brilliant because he shows up that book burning is just a symptom. The real disease is a society that gave up reading and started to endlessly watch entertainment on the giant TV, like our world. We follow a fireman named Kaiman Tech who begins to question everything. He risks his own life to hide the books and connect with people who have chosen to remember the great works and the great books by becoming them. So, why do you need to read Fahrenheit 451? I think it's like a vaccination, or a warning that every time you choose 30-second video over the 10-page chapter, you are living in the world Bradbury warned us about. And finally, from protecting the wealth of our minds, we are moving to the fifth and last book for today, which is all about the building a different kind of wealth. Let's talk about Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. This book is arguably the most influential personal finance book of our time, but not because it gives you the get-rich-quick scheme, but because it completely rewires your brain about what money is and how it works. The entire book is built on a powerful parable. Kiyosaki had two father figures, his real father, the highly educated but financially struggling poor dad, and his best friend's father, the entrepreneurial rich dad. Poor dad believed the classic script: go to school, get a good job, work hard, save money. Rich dad believed: learn how money works, make it work for you. I don't tell you that you should quit your usual job and don't work there. I'm trying to tell you that you should buy assets while working on the usual job. At least this is what I do. And this leads us to the most important concept in the book, one that will change your life: how you look at every single purchase you make. Assets put money in your pocket. Liabilities take money out of your pocket. And I think you need to read this book to achieve basic financial literacy. So this was my top 5 of books that everyone should read in their life. And I know not every person would agree with me. We all different people and we all have different opinions. This is why I want to ask you to leave a comment and tell me what your top 5 favorite books are. And if you don't like to read books, you can just tell me if you like this video. Thank you so much for watching this. I really appreciate every one of you, and I hope we can discuss different books in the comments. By the way, don't forget to leave a like, comment and subscribe. It means a lot for me.